Well, here we are today talking with some of the superintendents that have utilized the ultrafine bubble technology provided by NanoOxygen Systems. Right now we're talking with Alan Brown of Timuquana. Alan, how long have you been at Timuquana?
I've been at Timuquana for about a little over 11 years now.
Okay. And Timuquana, is that considered a private club, daily fee, or?
Yeah, no,
membership?
we're a private club. Yep, about 103 years old now.
Okay, and so Donald Ross design?
Donald Ross, kind of old classic design.
Right. And you guys actually host a senior tour event there, correct?
We do. We hold a senior champions event, Furyk and Friends.
Okay, great. So you're using the NanoOxygen ultrafine bubble technology. How long have you had it at your course?
So we've had it in place for about 2.5 years now.
Okay. And prior to buying the system, what did you expect from it, and has it met or exceeded? Or is it too early to tell?
Yeah, well, it's something I'd been looking at for probably 5 or 6 years. A couple of other products that were out on the market that were similar, but this system has a few other bells and whistles the other ones don't. And water was kind of the last tool in the toolbox that I really wanted to sharpen up and try to figure out how to get it to maximize our inputs we do on the golf course.
So did you have any glaring problems that prompted you to research this technology and to utilize it?
I mean, my problems were more of just, all of the inputs we put in, all the effort we were putting in from a labor standpoint, and getting to maximize our inputs.
Right.
That was our goal behind all of this.
Oh, sure. And how about your water supply? Are you using potable, effluent? What's your source?
So we have reclaimed water is our main water source. We do have a backup well source as well, but reclaimed water is probably 95% of our usage.
And was that one of the reasons that you checked into this technology?
Yes. I just wanted to be able to, there's a lot I can't control before we get it, and so this gives me options to have more control over our water source.
Okay. How, in your opinion, Alan, how has the golf course turf improved since starting up your system? And what changes have you seen related to turf conditioning and playing conditions?
Yeah, so the past 2 years, our turf quality overall has been supreme. The inputs we're putting in, we're seeing the results. And the membership is also seeing the results of that as well. So turf quality definitely consistently for the past 2 years has been at some of the highest levels we've had in our 11 years.
You said it's at a highest level and it's able to maintain that, right? We're getting rid of the peaks and valleys of conditioning?
Yeah, and the stress that we put on the turf, we're not seeing some of the lows we may have seen in the past. And it's really been, for my staff, it's been really nice because they know the outcome of the work that they put in and the inputs we put in, and so I like seeing the smile on their face.
Right. So have you simplified your agronomic program since the start of this?
So yes, I mean, there's some things that we've definitely looked into more from a fertility standpoint and just lowering, we've started out just lowering our analysis on our bulk applications and seeing if we can get the same amount of time that we would out of what we've done in the past, and that's been very successful. Some of the fungicides that we've put out, we've expanded those intervals a little bit, and I still think we're on the very front of some of the agronomic practices that we're going to see. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll do less of, but it may be less intrusive on the types we try to do in the future.
Right. Can you describe the impacts of the better water and the quality on the root and length of mass?
Yeah, we've just had, like I said, if the turf has showed consistency throughout the year, It's the roots that are supporting it. So we've just had that, and I think they both go hand in hand together.
Right. So don't you feel this system, which increases the dissolved oxygen in the soil as you water, that is really making the soil work naturally much better, much more efficiently, would you say?
Yeah, well, your inputs you're putting in are getting used, where before we thought we weren't getting a high percentage of use out of them. Plus, we're mining the soil of what's there already. So that's probably the thing that over the next few years we'll try to pay attention to the most.
Right. So the soil biology has definitely improved, though, in
Correct.
regards. Yeah. Okay. How about, are you seeing any reduction in your use of pesticides or wetting agents or anything like that yet?
So on the wetting agent side, that was probably one of the first things that we totally pulled out. We put our wetting agents through fertigation system, and we totally pulled back on that. And that's been probably a $15,000 to $20,000 savings. Or not just savings, but has allowed us to put other inputs into our program.
Or use that money in a different way.
That's correct.
Right. For detailed projects or anything else that you want to use. Okay. Another thing we've talked about earlier on was how this affects potentially the soil and nematodes, because we're getting some good results from nematode counts, and I know you're one of the courses that has an issue.
Correct. It's been a big issue for us in the past. You know, I can't really give you a scientific answer for that, but we have seen our counts really go down. You know, we work with
since the introduction of the system.
Correct.
Right.
We've been working with Dr. Kearns for over the past 5 or 6 years, and so we're kind of putting it in his hands and see what we can come up with what is exactly happening and why we're seeing a reduction there.
Right. It might be anecdotal, but we're actually seeing something.
Absolutely.
It could be attributed to that. Okay. Now, so Alan, you've got a system, a total system. You've got the dissolved oxygen, you've got the pH control, and you've got the ozone, correct?
Correct.
And all that has been working well for you?
Yes. So yeah, we're turning our bubbles into ultrafine bubbles. We're using the ozone to take care of all the algae and biosolids coming in from our reclaimed water. And then we're also putting 95% oxygen into the water. And so we've been doing that 2.5 years. And then over the past 6-7 months, we've added the CO2, which when it contacts with water, it forms carbonic acid and it drops the pH rapidly. But what's great about all that is it's a weak acid. So it's very environmentally friendly. Plus it's very good for our systems. You know, we don't get the wear and tear.
Right. And we don't get any rust or any of that kind of stuff
Correct.
on all the metal fittings and pump station things. Okay. Do you overseed?
I do not.
Okay. Have you done any changes in your cultural practices, aeration, vertical mowing, top dressing, etc.?
Yeah, that's the direction that we're trying to go in. We're trying to, I don't say we're not trying to aerify, we're just trying to minimize those aerification process. Can we go smaller? Can we go less frequent? Or can we go smaller and more frequent? I mean, that's the things we're looking at, because aerification is just so brutal on that surface. And we work so hard to develop it, and then we beat it up. So do we have to do that? And I don't think so. I think with this system, it's going to allow us to not only mine the organic with the water being highly oxygenated, but also minimize our agronomic practices.
Right. So have you gotten feedback from members and board of directors or your Greens chairman at all?
Absolutely. You know, we've been in a pretty drought season, you know, probably over the past 7 months. And the changes they see from within their own yard or at other golf courses, we're not experiencing that.
Or what they'd experienced in the past.
Correct.
Previous.
Correct.
So have you been able to dry down your course and firm it up and still not have any turf issues?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So it increases play.
Yes.
Better benefit for the players. Right. All right. Let's see. Staff. Is there any site-specific information of your course that you'd like to share that you have seen through the use of this technology?
Well, for us, we're fortunate. We treat our irrigation pond, which comes in, takes in all of our reclaimed water. But all of our ponds on the whole golf course are connected to our irrigation system. So we treat the pond, and then we can supply that water to all of the ponds on the golf course. So kind of a unique situation to be able to do that. I'm sure some courses have that ability, but that's been something that's been definitely a change to the membership as well.
Right.
And seeing those ponds consistently look the same.
Right. So since you're able to pond fill through your irrigation system, you're getting a better looking pond. Have you noticed a reduction in smell, of the sulfur smell?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have that issue before, so it's not something that we were dealing with.
Okay. So you've had the system now roughly 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
How has the system performed for you? Reliability, performance?
I mean, it's been great. You know, we were probably one of the early clubs to really put this in place. And so what Ron and his staff has been able to do is just supply us with the needs of, hey, this is what we've experienced. How can we change it? How can we make it better? So we've worked hand in hand together, and I'm pretty sure it's going to continue to be that way.
Okay. You know, if you were at a course and you were doing a renovation, why might a course want to install a NanoOxygen system prior to renovation?
Well, I mean, you're doing a renovation. It's always a good time to try to put some things in place. You already have a renovation budget going into place. It's an opportunity to fit this into that. But also, I would say from a grow-in standpoint, you're going to see major benefits from that, from your inputs that you're going to be putting onto the turf and what you're going to be mining from the soil.
Right. Better and faster turf establishment as well.
Correct.
Right. How about if you're just renovating your sprinkler system? That'd be a perfect time as well to put this in.
I think it'd be a great time, you know, and it's also a tool to help keep those systems clean,
Right.
You know, and keep from having, in the past, we would have some calcium buildup within our pipe systems, and you would see some of that be reflected in the spray patterns of the heads, and we don't have any of those issues
Right.
anymore.
No clogging, no cleaning, not like it
No.
used to be. Right. No. Right. Okay. Have you been able to determine if you can water less and still provide quality turf?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we've seen our usage on the golf course go down anywhere from 10 to 12%. So,
Okay.
you know, and like I said, we're going through a drought right now, and we are pumping more water, but we're seeing the same results.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So even though we're able to cut back our water input, we're still getting quality turf.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I want to go back to the CO2. Like you said, CO2, when it dissolves in water, becomes carbonic acid. And carbonic acid is a nice weak acid. So it really doesn't harm your soil biome like, let's say, sulfuric acid or any of the other acids did. Prior, were you using another acid or not?
Yes, we had used sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acids, and, you know, that was one of the biggest things is just handling those products and knowing what those products can do to your system, and really not seeing the consistent results of using those products and the cost. I mean, the cost is substantial when using the different types of acids you may use compared to the CO2.
Right. CO2 is a much less expensive alternative.
Correct. We're probably going to spend a third of
Right.
what we spent.
And would you say it's more effective and safer?
I mean, you can see it firsthand. You
Right.
know, with the Sensiphone system that's tied to the system, we can monitor it. You know, in real time.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned the Sensiphone system, because that's our monitoring system that every course will be able to have once they have the system in. And you can get daily input readings on a variety of different turf numbers that you want to look at. How has that worked out for you? Are you one that follows that quite a bit or not really?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, you're looking at it, you know, 10, 15, 20 times a day. You know, nowadays, you know, I still monitor it, but, you know, NanoOxygen, they also monitor it. So sometimes I'll get a phone call from them before I even look at it, which that's great, you
Right.
know. But yeah, it's easy for all of us to follow, monitor, and take care of issues if they come about.
Right. You know, so this technology started to increase dissolved oxygen. And I've been in the industry a long time, and we really didn't know much about dissolved oxygen. We didn't even use it as a metric usually. At your course, prior to the system, were you aware of your DO number? Were you monitoring it?
No.
And how has it
No.
increased since?
You know, I look at it now and I'm kind of like, I feel like that it should be common sense a little bit.
Right.
And it's something that we didn't monitor. But, you know, it's definitely going to be a major tool in the future.
Right. So when you started, prior to starting, what was your DO reading on your pond? Do you remember?
So we were about a 3.
Okay.
And now we've got that up to anywhere from 15 to probably 22.
Right. So we're 3 to 5 times better than the start, or more than that, actually.
Correct.
5 to 10 times,
Yeah.
5 to 8 times better with the dissolved oxygen content.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So one of the last questions, you've been one of our longest clients to have this technology. What can NanoOxygen do better to enhance the system and technology for it to be able to use by all levels of courses?
It's a good question. You know, I take a lot of phone calls, and I think a lot of people are, you know, it's an investment, and it's a big investment. I always tell them it's long-term investment. But I think probably if there was more availability to units that maybe they could lease to own type deal. I don't do the business side of that, but
Right.
we got to find a way of convincing people in a short-term basis that makes sense to the business.
Right. Well, here at NanoOxygen Systems, we do offer financing and monthly payment programs too, because we're reaching out to courses that want this technology, but are budget constrained.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. You want to add anything else, Alan?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay.